In every moment you're seen, your very existence is on trial. Each step, every glance, each pause, and every word forms the court record of who commands the room, and who forfeits it without realizing. While many obsess over appearances, few truly grasp the battlefield of perception. The majority are not conquered in violent clashes, but undone quietly, by themselves, in subtle decisions made in public arenas. This is not a world ruled by truth, but by image, and if you do not craft your own reflection, others will sketch it in your place, with ink made from your smallest missteps. There is no applause for sincerity, only calculations are rewarded here. You might think that being genuine earns trust, but honesty exposed at the wrong moment is a liability, not a virtue. When the masses watch, they don't seek your humanity, they dissect it. The crowd's curiosity is a scalpel. The more you reveal, the easier it is to slice through your defenses. Emotional exposure might feel liberating, but to those around you, it paints a target on your chest. Those who wield influence rarely offer their soul to the wind. Instead, they master the art of opacity. They know that unpredictability births caution in others, and that mystery whispers louder than confession. When your world is crumbling, wear serenity like a mask. If the ground beneath you fractures, let your gait remain unbroken. Emotion, unfiltered and visible, doesn't invite rescue, it invites inspection. The trembling lip, the wavering voice, the eyes filled with sorrow, these are invitations for opportunists, not saviors. Those who seek to rise must learn to internalize chaos and project order. The man who bleeds in public is not crowned a hero. He's seen as weak prey, waiting to be devoured. Even in moments of inner collapse, you must project stillness. Think of power not as volume, but as restraint. The roar may startle, but it's the silent one in the shadows who shapes the outcomes. The prince does not scream. He does not sob under judgment. He walks as if every step is rehearsed and every silence is calculated. This is not cruelty. It is strategy. The vulnerable may find comfort in transparency, but the powerful survive by guarding their depths. It is not always rage or sadness that betrays you. Sometimes it is the loud desperation to prove a point that gives away your weaknesses. When voices rise in anger in crowded spaces, they achieve little more than self-inflicted humiliation. Those who lose their composure while defending themselves are not remembered for their convictions, but for their fragility. The louder a man argues, the less control he appears to have. Authority doesn't need to shout, it emanates. Observe those who lead through presence alone. They do not throw tantrums in the marketplace. They do not fume under the spotlight. Instead, their silence is unsettling, their stillness unnerving. The one who watches more than he speaks draws greater fear than the one who postures like a peacock. The true master of any domain does not react to provocation. He allows others to implode while he measures, considers, and adjusts. He understands that public conflict is rarely worth the cost. When two men bicker in front of an audience, neither wins. Both are diminished. Do not imagine for a second that the crowd forgets. The raised voice, the trembling lip, the crack in tone, they become part of your legend, and not in the way you might wish. Those who maintain serenity in the face of chaos are seen not as passive, but as powerful beyond comprehension. A ruler need not justify himself. He need only exist with unwavering certainty. His control is not just over others. It begins with himself. In times of uncertainty, the most dangerous currency is desperation. You may not smell it on yourself, but others do, and they do not respond kindly. Desperation, once sensed, alters everything. It turns negotiations into exploitations. It transforms opportunities into traps. It is not spoken, yet it screams through your gestures, through your posture, through your hunger to be noticed or chosen. Those who radiate neediness are seen not as valuable but as expendable. The ones who cling are pushed. The ones who chase are dismissed. Understand this. People are drawn to what seems unattainable. The appearance of indifference is often more powerful than genuine interest. A man who behaves as though he could walk away at any moment, even when he cannot, projects leverage. And in the theater of life, leverage is often more valuable than truth. A calm demeanor amidst chaos suggests options, and options are the essence of strength. You must appear complete, even if you're falling apart within. You must project abundance, even in drought. To seem self-contained is to be treated with caution. To seem lacking is to be treated with contempt. Even if you're cornered, smile. Even if the door has closed, stand tall. Let no one taste your panic. Let no one feel your urgency. If you must suffer, suffer in silence. If you must beg, transform it into a negotiation. Let the world believe that nothing matters more to you than your own dignity. For once you reveal that something or someone holds power over your peace, that thing becomes your master. Then comes the subtle trap of praise. Compliments, when wielded recklessly, do more harm to the speaker than they uplift the target. In a society governed by appearances, excessive flattery is interpreted as weakness. When you offer praise too freely, it is no longer seen as kindness. It becomes currency, and cheap currency at that. It makes people wonder about your intentions. They begin to doubt the sincerity behind your words. They begin to assume strategy, even manipulation. This is not to say that acknowledgement is harmful. It's the lack of restraint that ruins it. A well-placed compliment, delivered at a meaningful moment, can build alliances and open doors. But overuse dissolves impact. It reduces your perceived independence. You begin to look like someone who's chasing approval, someone who cannot stand alone. And those who cannot stand alone are never given command. Every time you raise another person up too high in public, you lower your own position in the silent hierarchy. A nod can be respectful, but too many nods turn you into a servant. You are not meant to kneel every time someone of influence enters the room. To praise is not the same as to plead. Never let your appreciation become submission. In a world shaped by perception, even admiration must be measured. Applaud in silence if you must, but keep your authority intact. Direct criticism is equally perilous. To tear someone down while others are watching may feel victorious in the moment. But the aftermath is never as clean as you imagine. The target of your public correction may bow their head, nod in agreement, perhaps even thank you. But inside, a fire has started. You have publicly stripped them of dignity. And what dignity loses in an instant, vengeance often seeks to recover in a lifetime. Worse than retaliation is the whisper you leave behind. The crowd doesn't just see what you said. They see who you became. They begin to worry that one day it will be them on the receiving end. Even if you are right, you are remembered as dangerous. Not dangerous like a leader, dangerous like a liability. Those who attack others under the spotlight are rarely trusted in the shadows. True control does not require an audience. If you wish to influence someone, do it quietly, one-on-one. Let the lesson feel like their own discovery. Guide them without the sting of embarrassment. Silence wields more power than reprimand. Distance speaks louder than correction. Subtlety lingers long after the shouting ends. Make no announcement of your victories. Let your enemies unravel of their own weight, while you sip calmly from your chalice, unnoticed and untouched. And beware the seduction of laughter. There is a special kind of temptation in making people laugh. The moment you succeed, it feels like triumph. Instant approval, visible enjoyment, a room warmed by your charm. but do not mistake entertainment for reverence. The more they associate you with amusement, the less they take your presence seriously. You may become liked, but not followed. Remember, the jester is always welcome at the table, but never offered the crown. Those who aim to amuse constantly trade authority for attention. They cannot help but seek the next chuckle, the next grin, the next softening of the mood. But in this quest, they lower their position. They become a fixture, a source of pleasure, not of power, and once you are reduced to a role, it becomes difficult to reclaim your identity. A joke may earn you a laugh, but it rarely earns you loyalty. Humor, especially when used carelessly, reveals far more than intended. Beneath every punchline lies a portion of the truth. The more you jest, the more you unveil your thoughts, your worries, your worldview. Those with keen ears will listen closely, not for the joke, but for the clues. What makes you laugh may one day be used to make you fall. The true strategist understands that every sentence is a risk. Speak rarely, and when you do, let your words cast shadows instead of sparks. There is a false belief floating through the world like perfume, a notion that transparency is the key to connection, that revealing one's inner life somehow builds bridges, that if you peel back your layers before an audience, they will appreciate your courage and crown you with understanding. This is a seductive lie. The truth is far colder. When you share your personal experiences too freely, especially with those who have not earned your trust, you are not building connection. You are constructing a map straight to your vulnerabilities. Most will not tell you this. They will nod while you recount your trials. They may even offer a sympathetic smile, perhaps a word of comfort. But when the moment passes and you are no longer in the room, they will not recall your strength. They will remember your struggle. And not everyone who remembers your struggle will respect it. Some will turn it into a tale, others into ammunition. What you whisper today can become their entertainment tomorrow. Every detail about your life is a tool, and once placed in another's hands, it can be sharpened against you. You think confession earns intimacy, but in the public realm, it earns exposure. There is no power in familiarity, only risk. The more the world knows about your heartbreak, your mistakes, your regrets, the less it fears you. Power fades with every page torn from your private story and offered as a gift to the crowd. You must become unreadable to remain formidable. The powerful do not explain. They don't decorate their past with honesty for all to see. They let others guess, and guessing keeps people cautious. Even those who swear loyalty while listening to your revelations may one day stand on the opposite side of your silence. And when that day comes, every soft memory you handed them will be used not to defend you, but to define you. Reserve your truths. Hold them tight like a monarch clutches his crown. The less they know, the more they wonder. And curiosity in the minds of others is far safer than knowledge. Do not parade your pain. Do not present your aspirations like offerings on an altar. Speak through parables if you must. Cloak your past in myth, your plans in misdirection. Let no one feel they fully understand you, because once they do, they stop respecting the mystery, and power without mystery is quickly replaced. The same rule applies to fortune. There's a temptation in displaying success, the car, the suit, the watch, the vacation, the signature on a contract. All of these things feel like achievements worth sharing. But each time you lift your accomplishments into the air, someone somewhere quietly clenches their jaw. Public displays of wealth don't inspire as much as they inflame. Those who envy rarely announce themselves. They smile, they clap, they nod, and then they wait. Prosperity worn loudly is an invitation. It invites sabotage. It awakens old grudges. It shifts attention not to what you've built, but to what others believe you don't deserve. No man is hated for being poor. But a man who shines too brightly in a room filled with shadows becomes a threat simply by existing. They'll say it's admiration, but it's calculation. The wise ruler knows how to cloak success in simplicity. He walks among others not as a god, but as a ghost. His wealth whispers, it never shouts. His victories are assumed, not announced. And by remaining discreet, he avoids stirring the silent rage that lives in the hearts of the envious. Humility, even if false, is the most powerful camouflage you will ever wear. Let others speculate on your fortune. Let them wonder how you move without noise, how your hands stay clean while the world gets muddy. That mystery, that understated elegance, is a fortress. Flaunting riches is not a sign of confidence. It is a sign of insecurity disguised as pride, because the man truly secure in his power feels no need to advertise it. And yet perhaps the most subtle betrayal a man can make occurs before he ever speaks, before his lips move, before a word is uttered. The betrayal begins in posture, in the smallest twitch, in breath, in the shift of his weight. Every eye in the room is an interpreter. Before you speak, they are already writing the story of who you are, through how you hold yourself, how you breathe, how you respond when nobody has yet spoken your name. Control over your body is the foundation of all authority. A man who enters a room with restless limbs, nervous glances, or hesitant steps is announcing weakness before he's even opened his mouth. You may believe your words will change the room, but the room has already judged you by the time your sentence begins. And if your voice wavers, your shoulders slump, your breath quickens, they are not hearing your message. They are watching your collapse. Power begins with stillness. True strength does not flail, does not tremble, does not rush to speak. It waits. It pauses. It speaks only when the silence has leaned in far enough to listen. Composure is more terrifying than rage. Measured words land with greater weight than frantic declarations. A king does not compete for attention. He demands it without effort. When faced with insult, remain unmoved. When tested, do not respond. Let your calm be so absolute it suffocates those who seek to provoke. The one who controls his breath controls the moment. The one who owns his silence owns the stage. Every inch of your presence must speak one truth. I cannot be shaken. Because once someone sees you break, just once, they will remember it forever. This is not about theatrics. This is about architecture. You are building a structure that others must believe in. And like any great monument, its foundation cannot wobble. Your eyes must not dart. Your voice must not rise in pitch. Your hands must not betray your mind. You must walk like your footsteps matter. Sit like the chair was built for you. Stand like no one in the room can unsettle your balance. Because if they find your tipping point, they will push. And if you fall, they will not help you rise. They will step over your body and keep moving. The world is not cruel, it is calculated. And it does not reward the unguarded. It remembers every stumble, every misstep, every flinch, and it uses them not immediately, but eventually. You are always on stage, always. Whether it's a crowded hall or a silent elevator, someone is watching. You might think no one notices, but the mind of the observer is hungry. It catalogues, it stores, it recalls. You may speak volumes with just a twitch of doubt. You may lose ground with just a misplaced smirk. And once the judgment is formed, it's hard to erase. The court of perception never forgets. Most people surrender their throne not by force, but by their own negligence. They laugh too freely. They confess too early. They complain too openly. And before they know it, their mystique has evaporated, their stature has shrunk, and their influence has dissolved like smoke in the wind. One by one, they shed the layers of their authority, until there's nothing left but the echo of who they used to be. A man of power does not plead, he does not explain, he does not indulge the whims of those who do not hold sway over his fate. He allows others to speculate, he watches, he listens, he calculates. Every smile is intentional, every pause is designed. He is not warm for comfort, he is still for strength. What you've been given is not a list of behaviors. It is a strategy for survival in a world that smiles while sharpening its knives. You are not playing games. You are navigating a landscape littered with silent traps, where the wrong gesture can undo years of discipline, where a single moment of weakness becomes the story that defines you. Do not become a story told in mockery. Do not let your reputation be drafted by your enemies and signed in your own tears. Protect your presence like a fortress. Guard your image like a throne. Speak little but mean every word. Move rarely, but deliberately. Smile when you must, but never when it costs you power. You walk through a jungle of eyes, and none of them are neutral. Each one measures, each one weighs, and each one decides whether you are prey or predator. Let your silence be thunder. Let your presence be enough. Let your mystery keep them guessing, and let your power never be announced, only felt. For in the end, no crown is given to the loudest man, the funniest man, the most open or most emotional man. The crown is reserved for the one who needs none of those things, the one who can command without a word. Silence a room with a look and vanish before anyone understands how deeply he ruled it. Your legacy is not built in bursts, it is built in the spaces between, the unspoken moments where discipline governs every breath and no one is allowed to see what you truly hold inside. That is power, and power once possessed quietly lasts forever.